with people living longer and the nature of work is changing, many of us could face a career that could span 60 years or more.
Yeah, it's reality. So today our money expert has advice on how to plan for a 60-year career. Dustin Smith from Wealth Enhancement Group joining us this morning. Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
When we talk about a 60-year career, we're not talking 60 careers in one job per se. We're talking just 60 years over the value of how long you can work.
Absolutely, yeah. I am no way saying that people are going to have to stay. You're not going to be doing this until your 80s, right?
No, we don't want to see that.
By means, yeah. So, we're just talking the fact that, people are living longer, so we just need to find ways to help financially support that. And often that comes from savings, maybe like Social Security, but often it also incorporates another job of some sort.
And so one of the things people should look at doing is possibly diversifying those income sources.
Yeah, so as you start approaching retirement, I always think it's important to start thinking, like, are there other ways that I can make money? So maybe you can consult back at the same job. Maybe you can work part-time at the place that you're located right now.
Yeah.
Or you start looking into things like the gig economy or other places that you may enjoy working.
What do you mean when you say build tax diversified savings? What does that mean? Break that down.
Yeah, so when people are saving for retirement, right, often we think of just our 401k,
Sure,
where we put money in and we don't pay any taxes, but we pay taxes when it comes out. Well, you really want to build your tax diversified portfolio. So that's where you have money that's taxed now, some of it's taxed never, and some of it is taxed when it comes out. And the reason for that is when you are working at different jobs, your income level is going to change.
Right.
And so you want to have a diversified location that you can draw money from when your income's high or when it's low. It really helps stretch those dollars out.
And you also have to keep in mind an emergency fund of some sort.
You preach on this.
I preach on this all the time, right? Because the minute that you decide to leave your full-time career to go work part-time somewhere else, that is when your car breaks down, right? So just making sure you have emergency fund is going to just give you that liquid courage, if you will, to stretch out into something new.
Something I've seen a lot more people doing this, but developing their skills, possibly going back to school, and actually, that can actually keep you in the workforce too.
Yeah, so I think there was this idea where, once you got into your 50s or 60s, you could kind of coast, right? Maybe not learn new things. I think that's kind of old and outdated, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep learning always. So be a lifetime learner because that will just open up opportunities.
Are you finding that to be the case? I'm sorry, because jobs are changing so much and technology is changing so much that you have to keep up with that.
Yeah, so long gone are those days where you say, hey, I don't have to learn this new technology program onto my computer, right? It feels like we get thrown these things all the time, like, oh my gosh, something new that I have a password for. But you really need to keep your skills up and learning forever.
And when you talk about value-driven planning, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so especially, as you start looking at different careers, I mean, we all know there's a time in our life where you're just trying to make as much money as you can,
Absolutely.
right? Kids at home, bills to pay.
Yeah.
But if you start looking at maybe those part-time jobs, I think it's really important to think about what are your values? What are the things that you care about? Are there locations that you can work that really live out those values?
Is this maybe the most important one, the last one you've got, being flexible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
why is that the hardest, though?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the hardest because, especially when you're working for a place for so many years, right? You kind of get in your routine, and it's hard to break from that. But if you are going to have a very long career that has different stages, you just have to go with the flow a lot of times, right? Be willing to maybe take a couple years off while you're learning a new skill. You might be working part-time, making less money, and that's okay, right? You just need to be flexible and just open yourself up to opportunities because that's really where you're going to grow.
We're playing the long game. We're playing the long game. That's what it is about.
The long game.
Thanks so much, Dustin.
Thanks for having me.